You've been taught that keeping the peace means strength, that avoiding conflict makes you virtuous. But what if I told you it just makes you invisible? Picture this: you're standing in a crowded room, speaking, but no one even flinches. You scream, and still, nothing. You've blended in so well. You've disappeared. But here's the truth you were never told. The price of being liked is your own existence. We are conditioned from childhood to believe that avoiding conflict is noble, that biting your tongue is strength, that if you just nod, smile, and agree, everything will be fine. But what if I told you that's a lie? Philosopher Alfred Adler called this the life lie. It's the belief that harmony is synonymous with happiness, that if you just bend a little more, if you soften your voice, if you fade into the background, you'll be safe. But Adler also wrote, "Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the judgment that something else is more important." What if that something is your truth? Not the truth you dilute to keep others comfortable, but the raw, jagged edge of who you really are. Think about it. When was the last time you truly spoke your mind? No filter, no softening. When was the last time you refused to agree just to keep the peace? Most people would rather be agreeable than be seen. They call it keeping the peace, but it's really just self-erasure. In psychology, there's a term for this: self-silencing. It's when you suppress your real thoughts just to avoid conflict. The studies are brutal. Self-silencing is linked to depression, anxiety, even physical illness. You're not keeping the peace. You're killing your own voice. The Greeks had a word for those who stood out: idiots. It didn't mean foolish. It meant someone who didn't participate in the collective thought. To be separate was to be dangerous. The greatest minds in history were misunderstood. Galileo was branded a heretic for saying the earth revolved around the sun. Van Gogh died in poverty, considered insane. Socrates was executed for corrupting the youth of Athens. They weren't despised because they were wrong. They were despised because they refused to be agreeable. The willingness to be misunderstood is the beginning of true power. Ask yourself, how much of what you say is really yours? How many times have you softened your truth to make it digestible? How often have you silenced your own voice just to keep the peace? If you want to be truly seen, you have to be willing to be hated. We've been lied to. Peace isn't the absence of conflict, it's the presence of truth. Friedrich Nietzsche called it the philosophy of the herd, a desperate need for comfort at the expense of authenticity. He wrote, "You must be ready to burn yourself in your own flame. How could you rise anew if you have not first become ashes?" Real peace isn't quiet. It's loud. It disrupts. It shakes foundations. It's saying the uncomfortable thing, knowing it will set fires. It's choosing truth over approval, even when the room goes silent. Peace isn't found in the absence of enemies. It's found in the presence of self. Here's the part no one tells you. If you live for the applause, you die by the silence. Studies in behavioral psychology reveal a dark truth. The more agreeable you are, the less respect you command. You can be liked, or you can be respected. Rarely both. Because respect is born from authenticity, not compliance. This is why Jean-Paul Sartre said, "Hell is other people." Because the more you adjust to their expectations, the further you drift from your own. The crowd will always want you to fit their mold, but the crowd is terrified of truth, because truth doesn't fit, it disrupts. To be reborn, you must first be willing to burn for your truth. Now you know the secret. Conformity is the slowest form of suicide. You're not keeping the peace. You're surrendering your soul. You are not blending in. You're fading out. The courage to be hated is the courage to be seen. And maybe that's the real reason people fear it. Not because it's hard, but because it's real. I want you to write this in the comments. I choose truth over approval. Not just as words, but as a declaration. If you have the courage to claim it publicly, you're already stepping out of the shadows. Type it below. Let them see you. Let you see you. If you're ready to unlock more hidden truths that society tries to keep buried, watch the next video. It's time to step out of the fog and see things as they really are.